Welcome back guys to ICT Trading Concept, and if you have seen already the name, the heading, actually it's no bias needed. What did I mean by that? If you don't have any bias, I know some of you are actually struggling with the bias, daily bias, so you don't know how to analyze the higher time frame. It's very difficult for some of you. I'm not talking about all of you, but some of you actually struggling with the bias. So if you don't have the bias, how do you trade? In that case, you can trade. Mm, so I'm gonna just explain everything uh, today about if you don't have the bias, then how do you trade, how do you mark your liquidity, and how do you go for your entry. So I'm using the replay mode, and this is actually I just playing the replay mode from today's morning 8:15. So I just cleaned everything over here. In the meantime, I will explain the reason why I took the morning session trade entry, the long. I'll explain that as well. The main thing is I'm gonna talk about today is if you don't have the bias, then how do you take entry, how do you know where price will go? So that is the thing. You see at 8:30 today there was a news, so I'm like 8:15, I have just opened 1 minute chart. When I have opened the 1 minute chart, I'll try to mark some equal highs and equal lows. I don't know which way price will go. It's right now inside this price leg. You see this bigger price leg. It's just in the middle position. So I don't know where it will go. So in that case, I will just mark the swing, the equal lows and the equal highs. So let it do it. Let's do it so that it will be helpful for your understanding. Here is your equal lows. You can just mark equal lows or the relatively equal lows. Same like here is two lows and there is one low here. It's almost relative equal low. So don't depend for one low. You have to choose some lows that are relatively equal or the clean lows. So this is the actually, you see the clean lows. There is no liquidity behind this, there is no equal loss behind this. If you go over there, you see there's no equal loss relatively or the equal loss, there is no other equal loss. So this is the most obvious equal loss. And let's go to the high time frame as well. If you just mark this high, okay, like here, if you mark this high as your equal highs, I'll just mark it as a buy side liquidity. So this is buy side liquidity and this is sell side liquidity. You don't know where the price will go. So let's see how do you know how where price will go. So there is 8:30 news. We will wait until 8:30 what the price do over there. We'll see that. Okay, so at what time is it? It's like 8:18. It has cleaned the buy side liquidity. Okay, just keep it in your mind. You see, it's just struggling over there, and there is your there exactly there is your 8:30 news. You see it has just cleaned the buy side liquidity and break lower. Let's go again what it did. Actually it's trying to clean the sell side. You are seeing that I'm in this position. I'm just waiting to clean this low, the sell side liquidity. I would like to see that it will clean this sell side liquidity. So I'm trying, going. Let's go over there. Okay, let's see what it did. It has actually, this is the opening gap today. Today's opening gap means yesterday 5 p.m. it has opened, it has closed, and 6 p.m. The market has reopened. So that is the gap. I marked it. So you see price actually came to this gap, and it has just traded this gap, then it started to go higher. Okay, it didn't clean this liquidity. Keep it in your mind that it didn't clean this sell side liquidity, but it has cleaned the buy side liquidity. Okay, so it's trying to take another attempt to come lower, but then I have got this market structure shift. Yesterday I have uploaded a video about which swing high or swing low you have to mark as your market structure shift. If it has broken this high, then it won't be a market structure shift for me. My market structure shift is when it has broken this high, this specific this high, then it's my market structure shift. Okay, so when I got this market structure shift, I saw it has cleaned the buy side liquidity, but it was a shallow run. You see there was some weak. Nobody closed, nobody went above the highs. It has just a shallow run, not a clear, clear cleaning buy side liquidity. So I was thinking that there is an unfinished business. Price has to go above this high to clean all of the buy side liquidity over there, and here it has actually traded the opening gap and it didn't clean the sell side liquidity. It has kept open the sell side liquidity, and then it has just respected the opening gap, started to go higher, give me a very nice market structure shift. So in this position I'm just thinking, if market give me a chance, like if it just the next candle, if it's just come over here somewhere, then I'll try to take a short buy entry over this gap. I mean, let me just mark it so that it will be clear. Like think this, the next candle will something like this, it will come something like that way, and the very next candle will trade this gap, I will take buy over here. That was my thinking in this candle. When it just appeared over here, I was thinking something like that. Let's see what market did actually. The very next candle it went higher, you see, it even didn't just no, it has just make a very big, fair value gap. The next candle it came back over here and make this very little fair value gap. You see this candles close and this candles close and this candle close, there is very little fair value gap. Okay, let me close it. And guys, for your for your information, this is the daily I fair value gap. I'm actually using this gap for last 2 days. If you have already seen my previous days videos, you will see that how did I actually use this gap. So when I have seen that this has happened a gap, in my mind this should be a the breakaway gap. If you have seen my video, the entry actually trade entry video, then you will see I have marked this as a breakaway gap. So what is the rule of the breakaway gap? The price shouldn't come below the consequent encroachment, but it was a news time, the volatile time. So let's see what the price did. I'm waiting. It didn't come to the fair value gap, it didn't even come. And guys, why I'm for buy side? Because I'm sure that buy side liquidity, although it has taken the buy side liquidity, but it's not clearly cleaned all the liquidity over here. It has just shallow run, you see, nobody didn't go up, so no clear buy side liquidity cleaning over there. So I'm thinking that it will go again, go to the upper side, upper portion, and clean all of the buy side liquidity over there. Then I will see for further information. Okay, so let's see. When it has come to this gap, I didn't take the entry. Why? It's because this gap is very important for me. This is the daily fair value gap, where if I have seen that the price actually closed above the gap, it has traded this gap and closed above this gap, maybe for the next candle I would take the buy. But when I have seen that it has closed inside this gap, this is daily fair value gap. Again guys, for your kind information, this is the daily fair value gap, and it's very important for your understanding that this gap is very very important. uh, it can just go lower. When it has come to this gap, it can just trade it inside this gap, because this is very strong, this is a higher time frame gap. Yeah, I know some of you actually talking about that, why I do need the higher fair value gap. But if you just follow the rules, like if you think this is not there, it is not present over there, then you could take your entry over there. Your stop loss should be below the consequent encroachment of this gap, because this is my fair value gap, the breakaway gap. But I'm talking about with little bit with the higher fair value gap. So this is the daily fair value gap, so I didn't take my entry here. I was waiting. You see it has broken this actually this gap and traded a little bit inside this gap. When it happened and closed above the gap, you see this gap above that gap, when it just went over there and closed, like when it was there, I already took my entry. I went for the buy, and my stop loss just behind the below the this low, because it has already went to this gap, and this is the volatile time, so price shouldn't trade this gap properly before cleaning this whole buy side liquidity. That was the reason for placing my stop loss just below this low. So let's say what did price did. It came again to the gap. No, again it, you see it has just come to the low, but it didn't break this low. If it break this low, then maybe I am wrong. It should go inside the fair value gap, or maybe the lower it will come back to the sell side liquidity. But you have to take the risk. This is all about risk. Trading is all about risk. Nothing is certain over here. So sometimes you have to take the loss. So it came back again and again. Then I got the bull run. In that position I was pretty much sure that it is going to high to clear this liquidity. So you see the next candle was a very strong bull candle, and in that case I just marked this gap because I was thinking that it won't keep it open, it will just trade over there because it has already done its job for the breakaway gap over here. So this should be traded as a institutional order flow entry deal. So let's see. Okay, so it came to the gap again, and boom, you see there it has just went over there. So when it went over there, just let me, okay, keep it both. uh, it has just went over there. You see it's still a shallow run, like nobody went above these highs or this relative equal buy side or this side. It's still shallow. I want some bodies closed above over there, because then I will be sure that price has already booked all the buy side liquidity over there. I know guys it's a very long video, but for your for your understanding I have to speak a lot, and it could be a very big video, but if you watch until the end, I am pretty much sure that you will learn. So you see it has come to the the water block again, to the gap you can say, and it came to the water block as well. Here is your water block. So it came to the water block. If you didn't actually took any entry over there, you could take your entry at the water block level, and then it went higher. You see when it happens over there, you see this candle actually closed above all of these highs. At that moment I was sure that okay, it has done its job over there. It has already cleared all the liquidity over here. See, there is no swing high or something like that for the near past. So what it can happen, it can went higher for the higher buy side liquidity, or there is an unfinished business it actually didn't complete, that is the relative equal loss. You see all of these lows, they're very juicy. Price doesn't want to keep them like that way. So many retail trader, they actually mark this as a zone, and when price came here they took the buy. So price doesn't want to keep it here like that way. So I'm just, I don't have any bias. So like you guys, you also doesn't have any bias, so you need some information so that you can be sure that it will go low to clear this buy side liquidity. What it could be, when I have seen that it has closed all of this liquidity as just waiting, what it can do, you see. In this case it has actually came to this gap again. I am not sure it will go lower or not. I am waiting. See, in this specific moment it has actually shifted the market structure. You see, this is my market structure shift. Let this a little small because it's needed later. You see it has cleaned all of this buy side liquidity over there by closing here, and then a very nice displacement. You see the nicest displacement, and it just shifted the market structure, came to the fair value gap, and then started to go higher. Why it is going higher? It can do two things. Either it has just cleaned the sell side liquidity from here and then go above, or it will just trade the fair value gap over there, then it will go lower. So I'm not sure that it will go lower or higher. In that case you also don't know, although there is very the obvious liquidity over there. It has already cleaned the buy side liquidity, so now what price will do, it has to clean the sell side liquidity, but you are not sure because this daily fair value gap also can use as a support. Also it has actually came to this fair value gap as well, so you won't take any short, but you will mark the fair value gap. There is one fair value gap, two fair value gap, three fair value gap. You will wait. In this candle it has actually traded this high. It has cleaned all this, actually traded all the fair value gap over there, and then break this gap, came to this daily fair value gap, gave you another shift. You see, another shift. This is not exact shift, but you can say this is another shift. Okay, when you will see this, then okay, let me just, you can assume that price actually has done its job to the above. If it would like to go higher, then it will go higher. It won't just trade the fair value gap and then came down or break the market again. So in that case you can just try to take an entry for the sell side, and in this candle you should take your entry. You have to use this gap. You see the gap as a I fair value gap. You can take your short over there, and your stop loss should be above over here somewhere. It's not important right now. I'm just talking about the liquidity. How do you take short? Although this is not clean, so if you didn't take this entry, it's okay. You don't need to take the entry. You see, market just traded to the lower part of the daily fair value gap, went higher, and consolidate over here. So let's go again. Again, there is no clean setup. You see, no setup. Still no setup. It went higher again, and let's see. If you take your entry over there, still you have the chance to hold that trade, because your your stop loss is above this high. It should be above this high, though this is a very big candle, so price can trade actually the consequent encroachment of this week. But if you take your place your stop loss over there, still you are safe. Let's see what price did. It's trading over there, coming back. It's going like, it's not sure where it will trade. You see, it's trading actually this daily fair value gap. I need some signature that it will leave this place, and then it will trade this sell side liquidity, because this is most obvious place price could go. When this candle break the low of this daily fair value gap, it actually helped me to be sure that price actually would like to clean this sell side liquidity. In specifically in this candle, I will look for the short. See, it came back and it went over there. Okay, and you see, it didn't give me a chance. So if you took your short entry over there and hold your stop loss over there, in that case maybe you would take this entry. It has actually cleaned the sell side liquidity. So market has cleaned the buy side liquidity and it has cleaned the sell side liquidity. What can it do now? Let's see what it can do. It's actually cleaning all over this place. I am not going interested to take any short, because I don't know it will reverse or it will go lower. It would like to go lower, so I am just waiting. When I have seen that it has just traded this opening gap, the gap actually opening gap, it has actually respected this before, and now it has come to this gap. I can assume that price can go lower. How do I know? When it has cleaned all of this liquidity, if price would like to go back, it has to trade a place where there is a logical place. Where is it? The most logical place is the hourly fair value gap. This is the hourly fair value gap. If you go to the hourly chart, you will see there is hourly fair value gap. So if you want, you can take your short over there. You see this gap used as a support before, and then it's broken over here. There is also a very little fair value gap. If you want, you can take this, what can I say, the sell over there, and your target should be this uh, hourly fair value gap, because it just came to the upper level of the fair value gap. It even didn't touch the fair value gap. If this fair value gap wasn't over here, then maybe I didn't do anything. Though I didn't do anything, but I'm just talking about when I have seen that this is a very obvious place where price should go and then reverse, but it didn't actually come over there. So I'm thinking I can easily think that it will come over here. So if you don't want to take this short, it's okay guys, I can understand, because there is no rules. Though if I would like to take the entry, I would take the short over here, because there is your order block, also the fair value gap, and also the opening gap. So all of this actually very strong reason for taking the short. So let's see. So price went over there, come back, and 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 still it didn't trade the hourly fair value. Okay, now it has traded the hourly fair value gap. See, you didn't take any entry. Let's see, when price is over here, you will see what price did over here. All of the place you will see it has cleaned the buy side liquidity, it has cleaned the sell side liquidity, then met this equal low and traded this hourly fair value gap. You whenever you will see there is a relative equal high or very clean equal high, you have to mark them. This is your sell side liquidity. If price would like to go lower, then it won't be like this way. It has just cleaned this liquidity and going up. If you mark this as a swing high, it has actually traded this gap. So this is your valid swing high for shifting your market structure. If you mark this as a shifting the market structure, it has already shifted the market. But there is a very strong point, this opening gap. So price can easily trade over there and then come back again. So you can't take your entry over there. You have to wait for price closing above this gap. If it close above there, and let's see here, if you are aggressive, then you have already entered over there. Your stop loss should be the consequent encroachment of this gap. Below the consequent encroachment, your stop loss should be over there, and your target should be somewhere this high, and this high, maybe this high, all of this high, or daily fair value gap, low, middle, high. That should be your target, because it has already, you see, it came to lower part, it has cleaned this sell side liquidity, make another equal low, clean that equal low, gave you the market structure shift, give you the uh, market fair value gap, and then started to go higher. So if you'd like to take your entry over there, but I am not supporting this logic, because this is the opening gap, and this is very strong. So wait until it's broken. You see, when it has just broke over there and went to the lower part of this fair value gap, ideally fair value gap, then you can assume that if it come to this gap or the water block level, you can take your entry. Let's see what price do. It actually didn't give you any chance to take entry over here. When you didn't get any chance to take entry over here, there is another fair value gap. You see, this is the fair value gap. If you see about the institutional order flow entry deal, you can take your entry over there, and your target should be somewhere here. Let's see what it price do. See, it's going higher, 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 and boom. So it went the letters to all of this buy side liquidity I have marked from previous part of my chart, but I don't want to go furthermore. That's all, guys. If you really think you don't want to mark your daily bias, then just go for the liquidity, which is more obvious in your chart. Mark your equal highs, equal lows, and then see how the price traded all over the place. And I think that will be helpful for you to take some, meat from the bone. And if you really understand the concept, then give me a thumbs up, share my video, guys. I am really requesting you. I need more audience, so that I can actually share my understanding with more people. So please share my videos. If you really think it's helpful, then share it with other people and let them know about me, about my channel. That will be really a very great help. Subscribe to my channel if you are new, and wait for the next episode. Thank you, guys. See you. Bye bye.